All right, we are live. Hello and welcome, everybody. We have Yvette with us. Before we get started, Yvette, there's a lot happening. No more
Yeah.
Dropbox. In a way, no more Dropbox, and interviews are going to happen more and more. But before we get into that, let's do a quick intro. Who are you, and like, what do you do? And yeah.
My name is Yvette Bansal. I'm a former consular officer. I worked for the US government for 11 years. I adjudicated visas in India, and then I started a company for visa interview prep. We have 4 other officers who've served around the world, and we help applicants pass their visa interview, prepare, and just have like peace of mind. So that's what we do.
Amazing. Love
Udeti,
it.
Udeti Visa. I didn't even mention the name of it. So
Yes, yes, and I'll put the. I already put the link in the description for people if they need help with visa appointments or visa preparation or DS-160 or any kind of things. They can use my code for discount
yeah,
as well.
not visa appointments. We don't do visa appointments.
Yeah, like visa preparation for visa appointments. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So what's going on with this Dropbox? I know the news came out. Everybody was asking me. I was like, let me find someone who can actually talk to it.
Mhm.
So yeah, like if you can give like a very bird's eye view context of like what happened and what's going on.
So shocking, Dropbox is no more for almost every non-immigrant visa category except B visas. So let's break that down. If you're an H1B, if you're an H, if you're a J, if you're an F1, if you're an M, which is pilots going back, if you're an O, extraordinary visa, you used to be able to do Dropbox for any renewals that you needed. If you're an H1B, you would submit an updated letter from an employer. If you're an OPT and you wanted to extend that F1 visa to include that OPT period, or say you're going for a PhD, you would give some updated letters, maybe the employment letter for your new OPT extension for STEM. You never had to go to an interview, which meant a lot less scrutiny, a lot easier, and a lot faster. You can just do Dropbox. Most Dropbox cases did not require a follow-up in-person interview, especially in India. Everything was fine. It still was really a stressful experience. You still had to go back to India, but a lot less stressful than, say, having to go for your visa interview.
Yeah.
Now, all that is taken away, and every single person in those visa categories has to appear for an in-person interview. It's a huge, huge shift. The only exceptions are some diplomatic visas that apply to nobody that we know. And
Yeah.
yeah, they probably don't want to, make bureaucratic leadership angry. So they gave them those exceptions, and B visa holders. Now, the B visa holder category is quite a large category, but you must have never had a recent refusal. So if you've had a refusal all the way in the past, that's okay. But a recent refusal, you'd have to still appear for an in-person interview. So any B visa holders, essentially in good standing, can use Dropbox still. Another big change is those people who are children under the age of 14, you used to be able to submit their passport. No more. You have to bring your children to the interview, or if you have a B visa and your child needs a B visa, now you have to go with your child to get a B visa. That's a big change. And people over 79 years old are really good travelers traditionally. Also have to appear for an in-person interview. It used to be that if you're 79, you could just drop off that B visa passport. So that is what is happening, Yudi. Big deal, especially for India.
Yeah. And some Abhishek is saying like interviews just gives them enough ammunition for refusal. They can tag a number of reasons for refusal, just doubles the probability of refusal.
I agree. It allows them to be even more it allows them to really look at why you've been in the US and make some judgment calls that maybe they wouldn't have made if you use Dropbox. It's a whole separate topic that we could do a video on, how refusals might play out. But now you're in front of the officer, you are going to have to answer questions, and that immigrant intent, especially for those renewals, is going to come into play. So
when
scary.
does this is September 2nd, right? This
Correct.
plays in effect?
Yes.
Okay.
So This goes into effect on September 2nd. So if you've snagged a Dropbox appointment for this August and it was kind of a sporadic thing, especially for H1Bs and H4s more recently, now I imagine anybody who has those slots has skyrocketed their rates to sell them off, because August is essentially the last month you can
Mm,
do Dropbox.
okay. So anything before September 2nd, and if they had Dropbox appointment, it for them there's no impact. They can still continue the Dropbox unless visa officer says I still want to interview them.
Correct. Unless the visa officer calls you in for an interview, just run of the mill. If you check out my channel, I both have a visa update on September 2nd. And for those still seeking a August 2025 appointment, I have a video on that as well. So you guys can check that out. But that's not to say that they can just close down all Dropbox appointments overnight. We have seen no notice changes. So I don't want to scare anybody, but just keep watching the news, keep being plugged into your WhatsApp communities, keep watching videos before you travel to make
Doesn't this
sure.
mean more backlog? Like it'll like probably just mean more and more backlog for people who wants to get more visas.
Right.
And
So I can explain. So when I worked at Delhi or Mumbai in the afternoon, I would have a stack of IW cases. And generally, all those H1Bs, say I had 10 H1Bs, I could go through those in very quickly, maybe less than 10 minutes. I would check what employer they're going to, if it's the same employer or another credible employer. I would approve that visa and generally just go on. But
yeah,
now all those people have to appear for an interview. That is going to take the officer a lot longer to interview that individual versus just clear an H1B passport. And there's another thing, Yudi, like when I was in India, a lot of officers in the administration talked about sending H1B processing over to the United States to make Dropbox more accessible. And during COVID, we actually had that validity of, if it was valid for 48 months instead of the 12 months. So there was an expansion going on. Let's do it overseas. Let's make it more accessible. And now that has shrunk completely to a very small number of non-immigrant visa B categories that are able to use Dropbox. It's just completely backwards from the place that we were going to from 2018 up until 2024. So just not great news. You need more officers to do this.
Yeah. Are they gonna hire more officers? I hope so.
There's no indication of that. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, over 1,300 State Department employees now, mostly in the civil service and mostly for bureaus that are non-consular, were laid off. Reduction in workforce, 1,300. And some of them were consular officers, and there's a hiring freeze. So it does not look like staffing is going to be keeping up with this at all. So
yeah. So and so we don't know more of the guidelines of like what does it look like after September 2nd? Is there any changes in interviews or anything? But other than like there'll be just more of interviews.
So traditionally, if you've had appointments post September 2nd, those would now basically not be there anymore. If you've had Dropbox appointments, and then you would be told you need to reschedule for an in-person appointment. Watch your consulate of choice and embassy, your local embassy, for more information on that, because now they're just adjusting to this new policy, probably freaking out over this new policy, but hopefully they should be giving out more information and more direction. Big deal.
Yeah,
What do you think, Yudi?
It's crazy. I mean, wild. I don't know what's the reasoning behind it. I mean, I guess, of course, it sounds like the reason is clear enough that they want to interview, and that gives them more scrutiny opportunity, basically. But like, there's no indication of like, did they explain why they did it other than just they're doing it?
So, no. And a lot of these decisions have not been explained, and even people on the inside they can't fathom why it's happening, and they don't want to go to the direction of this administration is just trying to hinder international students or specialty occupations. But I will say H1Bs, the largest H1B population comes out of India. And then the second largest F1 population comes out of India. So this hits India really hard. And you can't help but wonder do they not want international students that are amazing? Do they not want these, tech guys and, STEM gals? Because they're amazing. And this is just going to slow things down.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
really,
and what, like, I'm also like wondering, like, when is the big tech, the tech bros are gonna push back, if at all they will, or are they just gonna be quiet because they probably are too scared.
I think there is going to be some pushback. I've seen a couple of articles talking about international student pushback, especially on the fact that there is no appointments currently. And maybe we can do another session on this about deferring, because there is not a lot of F1 visa appointments right now. And there has been a push from universities that say, we want our students to start on time. All of them are at risk for deferral. So that has been put in front of the Secretary of State. What happens, we don't know, but I will continue to say, hey, rise up, man. I am not joking. Don't stay silent. If this impacts your business, if this impacts you as a student and you can say something, do something about it. Don't stay silent. If you can. Yeah.
It's wild. What about H1B renewal is what Nilesh is asking. Is it same, right? Like,
correct. Yeah. And it's hard to believe. So we're just digesting this. It's really hard to believe. This is a huge change. Yes. H1B renewals, you will have to find an in-person appointment. So now what do those travel plans look like for you?
Yeah. Wow. And we don't have, also there's no new interview guidelines other than that they just have to interview.
There's no new interview guidelines as of yet, but that is a really good question. How are officers going to interpret immigrant intent for a student who has been on an F1 visa for an extended period of time? Maybe it's their second master's and they're just completing it, because we know that happens. So there's a lot of question marks. It's especially scary to be in front of an officer at that point, because you could have a lot to lose if you're in the middle of your OPT, for example, and you've done 2 masters before. Now, what is your interview for OPT going to look like? You've been in the US for quite some time. That's just one example. So I think, stay tuned.
So even if someone's passport is expiring, now, like they did the master's 2 years, passport is expired, they want to travel, they need a new stamp, they can't do Dropbox because now they have to get an appointment, interview. And there they could ask, like, you finished already your master's, why do you want stamp again?
Right. Yeah, exactly. They would have had to get a new visa anyway, but now instead of going Dropbox and potentially not screwing up the interview, if it looks pretty run of the mill, now you could potentially screw up the interview. Dropbox was always the safest choice, always.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know we're gonna do more videos on different visa types and L1s and H1B and interviews as we learn more. But I don't see any more questions from audience. But this was more for FYI for it, that this has happened, and so people are aware. Yeah. Any other final thoughts, Yvette?
You guys are the smartest people I know, and you got this, and don't stress. You have resources. You have resources. You have former visa officers of all kinds. You have some immigration attorneys out there. You have a lot of different types of resources, and certainly Udeti is a resource for you if you want to talk about your visa renewal. But you do got this. It's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You're going to be able to maneuver it, and try not to stress too much. yeah, probably not as comforting as I wanted to sound.
Yeah, it's a hang in there type of situation right now. And well, as we learn more, we'll keep everyone posted. Yeah.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Bye.
Bye.